Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Convos with Friends, where we just talk about stuff, daily life issues. And with me here, I've got Sam. Sam is actually my brother, uh, like my actual brother, the eldest brother. So let me just allow him to introduce himself to you guys. So yeah, Sam, go ahead, tell us who you are.
Hi guys, happy to be here. My name is Samuel Shobowale. I am the other brother to Michael. He also took my nickname, so can
Uh,
be.
uh,
um, yeah, I mean, what else would you like me to touch on?
like, well, what do you do? What are you into? And all this kind of.
Sure. Um, I'm currently working as an IT professional. I like to say IT professional because like my career has basically grown in various directions over time. So the best way to just represent it is just say IT professional because it has grown in various directions, and I know it's still going to various directions from now on. So yeah, I am an IT professional. Currently, I'm focused on cloud computing. I work as an AWS cloud computing professional.
Well, what do you mean by IT? Can you expand on that?
Sure, information technology. So in general, people that are in IT, or when you tell people you're in IT, a lot of people probably assume that you're a programmer. I am not a programmer, but there's much more in IT than programming. Um, I am currently, I like my career basically started with a focus in system administration. Like desktop support, system administration, infrastructure support. These are like actual important aspects of IT, of information technology, where like people are focused on maintaining, building, and like sort of like architecting the infrastructures that whatever programmers write will actually be hosted on, or they will like be maintained on. So yeah, it's a whole different angle, or you know area to IT.
So you're basically doing all of the IT, or is that what you're saying?
Yes, I can actually say, I mean, I have experience in a huge portion of that information technology. I also have deep like understanding of programming as well. So, you
But
know,
well, how did you get in IT? Like, what did you study in school? Is that what you wanted to do?
good question. What I studied in school is management information systems. So, right from time, I've always, so even before I jumped into management information systems, I've always known I wanted to do IT. I was recently looking um, into like my something I wrote maybe 6 years or right before I went into college, and I was like saying, well, I want to do something in IT. I don't know what it is, but I just want to do something in IT. So I think that must have caused me to decide to do management information systems. It was not computer engineering, or it was not programming or anything like that, but it was the course I was taking was kind of split between information technology. I had some information technology courses, and I had some business courses. So I was right there in between the tech and business. However, along the line of this of my of my degree, I also kind of realized that I needed to have certain skills. Like I was definitely studying management information system. That's all fine and good, but I realized that obviously by having conversations with people that have gone ahead of me, just kind of observing what the market is outside of school, I realized that if you do not have a certain skill, you are not really market ready. You're not employable, even if you have your degree. So because of this, I kind of began to read and take certifications in, you know, like I started with taking like networking certifications. I started then from there, I started with like system administration certifications. Just kind of learning and understanding this side of IT that I talked about earlier.
But
And
who
yeah,
told
that's
you
how I.
about all this? Who told you that you should? No, first of all, you said you wrote down what you wanted to do like years before you got into college, and then now you also got to know what to do just by realizing. Like, who told you all these things?
I mean, So funny story. When I my first class in management information systems, we had I believe this was an introduction to information technology class. Before then, I knew like nothing. I didn't even have an email. So this was the class we had, like introduction to information technology, and like the teacher was kind of like, it started an introduction. It began talking about computers, like what is a computer, what are the different, like we're going back in time, like, oh, all these are the old types of computers that used to be around back in the day, and this is kind of where the computer industry, or computing or technology industry is heading towards. This was the class, and I was just like excited, like, yeah, like, wow, I'm proud. I was already feeling like I knew some computer stuff. So after the class, there was a classmate of mine. He kind of reached out, just walked up to a bunch of me and in front of a bunch of my friends. We're just like talking the class, and he was like, like, he noticed that we're young. He seemed older. He noticed that we're young. He noticed that we're enjoying the class, but he was trying to help us with something. Like, he was certified. He was already experienced in the field, and he wanted to like ask us, like, what do you guys think you're gonna do when you graduate? Like, do you realize that you would need certain skills? So he definitely sparked my curiosity, and from then on, I kind of like reached out to him and connected with him, and he began to mentor me through the journey. So first things first, he began to like train me, like actually sit me down, and we would have classes, we would have labs, and he would build like architectures, like infrastructures. He even gave us projects on the side to kind of help us understand how things really looked outside of like just reading about computers, like actually how things work in organizations. Because most people don't realize that, yeah, you do see an organization, you hear all the good stuff, you see their websites, but it's actually a whole IT department that consists of people that are doing a lot of stuff in the back end. Now you just have to figure out which of those things you are interested in doing. School, for a lot of for the most part, does not focus or does not talk about those things that you have to, like, which part of IT you should look into. They just tell you, okay, you're either a programmer, just do IT, and they kind of hope that you fit in somewhere. I don't know, you know.
Yeah, but at least you are saying that you got into all these things by studying MIS. That means you were still in school while learning IT, like real life stuff, right?
That's right.
Man, that's
Yes.
that's amazing. I don't think many people get to learn real life stuff until after they come out of school. But how long
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
you now been doing or building your career now?
Sure. So because of the exposure that I started getting right before, even like I started like with these trainings like maybe when I was my second year or first year of college. So I remember getting my first certification. Then before I was 18, I was like excited. I was like feeling like the youngest certified guy out there. I think I had a Microsoft Windows certification, Windows 7 at the time. I was excited. I was proud of myself. It took a lot of studying, it took a lot of work to get there. So immediately after college, I was able to secure a position um, in the US. So right after class school, I remember taking my interviews for these jobs, and they were basically asking like, um, what can you do? And everything that I was pointing to was basically off from the certifications and the training that I took while in college. Had nothing to do with what I was doing in school.
So they were not even bothered about your graduation certificate or anything like that.
They did not. Yeah. No.
Do you even know where your certificate is?
Right now, I don't. I mean, of course, I do know where my certificate is, but like it's, for the most part, you find people just ask, "Are you a BSc graduate?" And that's it. Like I've seen people in the same field of mine that studied mass communication. Believe
Wow,
it or not.
wow.
Yes.
So are you trying to say that school is actually not important to how you got into your career?
Oh no. I mean, school is extremely important. Um, but it's just one of those things where it's not a direct correlation, but it is definitely relevant.
How do you mean?
So school, for example, I'll start with this. For example, if I was not in school, how would I have met Ogechi? Is the person that talked to me and had a conversation with me and kind of like guided me through this. There is no way I would have met him, right? First of all. Second of all, if I was not in school, I would not have been able to build the discipline that is required to kind of go through a curriculum. Even though, like, sure, like school had its own curriculum, but he also had another curriculum that I had to follow, right? Without school, I would not be able to follow that. Without the experience from following through school's curriculum, I would not be able to follow his curriculum. At least that's what I believe. You know, without school, I would not have had the opportunity to meet a bunch of other people that kind of helped me along the line to learn multiple other skills like this. Aside from just the technical skills, there's so many other skills that are involved. Like, how do you write a presentation? Like, how do you talk about yourself? How do you sell yourself to like in an interview? How do you talk about yourself? How do you sell yourself to somebody that is trying to hire you? Like, these are things that you probably learn in some courses in school that you think, oh yeah, like this is not relevant, but all of those things are actually very valuable. And they separate people that go to school from people that don't go to school. So I would totally encourage anybody out there to go to school, but you should have the understanding that because you went to school studying tech does not mean you are immediately going to get a job in tech. And because you went to school not doing tech does not mean you cannot get a job in tech.
So it's all about you just trying to learn stuff while in school.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That should be your focus. Absolutely. That should be your focus. Learn whatever it is that you're doing in school. That's fine and good. You should definitely go through that path. But find what you are also interested in and learn that skill, learn that thing, find a skill and build it while in school.
Leave school aside for now. Let's talk about your career. Like, what do you enjoy the most now that you're in in your career? What you're doing?
Well, what I enjoy right now is the same thing I've always enjoyed, honestly. When it's right from when I even started with the training, it's the opportunity to solve problems. I enjoy just being thrown into a situation where I have zero idea of what the maybe not zero, but I do not know how to solve the problem. And I am introduced into the situation. And now I have to go back, do my research. It could be reading a manual, it could be reading some documentation, it could be Googling stuff. Let's just be clear. A huge part of my job is Googling stuff. So, yeah, and I enjoy that. I enjoy having to do that, not knowing what the answer to my problem is, but just the journey to finding the answer. I enjoy that path. So this career that I have allows me to be able to do that every day, almost every time. Um, yeah, and also in general, one of the other things I like about that is I've always enjoyed teaching and like sharing knowledge with people. So in such a career, you always have people coming under you, more junior people or people that are interested in getting into the career one way or the other. So you have because of the skill set that you've built over time, because of the experience that you have wielded, you can easily teach other people stuff. Those are the most exciting things
So
I find
basically,
about my career.
you're saying you find your career is all about googling stuff, and that's what you enjoy, googling stuff.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, extremely big part of it. Um, I mean, Google is the easy. It makes it extremely easy these days. But um, I do enjoy doing research of problems and trying to get to the bottom of it.
But tell us something. When you're trying to get into to start your career, were you thinking about the money and all this perks that come with the salary and stuff?
If I told you I didn't, I would be lying. One of the first things I did. So that's for me to be convinced to start like doing some learning and training on IT side of things. I looked up how much it is to that somebody that does IT or somebody that has this certification or that certification. How much is it do they make? you know. And I was like, what? Yeah, 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 this is definitely what I'm doing. Yeah, so the money, knowing how much it was going to allow me to earn, was a big motivator. Um, but again, there's been so many other things that I've seen in life that could potentially make me so much money, but that was not enough motivation. The combination of the amount of money you could make and the fact that I do enjoy being in an atmosphere where I'm solving problems allows it to be a career that I can flourish in and just not feel like I'm working some dead end job. You know what I mean?
Oh well, I guess it's been great talking for a while, and uh, I also know that you have a lot of experience with managing your time very well, because
Mm.
I did watch you how you always got to manage your time, even in school, like having to be in school and also having to be in another kind of learning process while also in school, like managing both of them at the same time. It must have been really interesting. So I believe we definitely have to get to you on an episode where you can tell us in detail how you managed all those things, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah,
but before
that's a whole different thing.
before we go,
Mhm.
take for example, I've got somebody who wants to get into your current career position now. What advice will you give the person to get into it?
Sure. The only way I do know, I've definitely thought about this a lot. There's a bunch of people that have always asked me this kind of question. And what I usually fall back to is try to convince them that my path that I took is the best way, which is basically take the time, learn from the scratch, right? Understand the fundamentals of technology, understands the most important things in technology, like communications, like how or networking devices communicate, understanding IP addresses, IP addressing in general. Is just like the real fundamentals of technology, right? This is what I would advise them to start with, and then once you understand the fundamentals, you kind of grow and begin to do more stuff. Um, and while you're trying to get into the fundamentals or understand the fundamentals, try and get a job or an internship or get on a project of some sort, because learning was never enough. Just learning by reading was never enough. You actually needed hands-on work for two reasons: one, to actually be able to sell yourself to an employer eventually, and two, to really really immerse yourself in that technology. Like I said, these are things that you do get better by experience. You don't get better by how much you have read. Reading helps you only to a certain extent. The experience that you have is where you actually is what will allow you to thrive in this industry. So in order to begin to get that experience, you have to basically immerse yourself in the environment where you're using what you have learned. So get on a project, get on an internship, or get on a side job or something while you're learning, and take your time, right? A lot of people, because of how much money you could make, they they're not being patient, so they just want to quickly get into something, like an advanced level. I don't recommend that. I would always say take your time and know that the stronger your foundation is going to be, the better it is for you in the future. One, it will be better for you. It will be easier for you to work in the future, to do more stuff in the future, because you have a strong foundation, so you can easily spread out. Right, your opportunities will be wider. Um, but if you don't understand, or if you don't have a solid foundation, you might find yourself caught in like a tight corner in the future, right? So I usually recommend that, like, start from the fundamentals, try to get on a project, whatever project it is that you would like. Learn the fundamentals while learning on the project. If you jump from that project, go to another project, and focus on learning in the beginning, in the early stages of your career, of trying to get into this field, and like, build it for the long term.
I think this also applies to like any kind of career as well. I think if you're going to get into any career, you have to sort of learn the basics first. You can't just jump into the high top position. You can't just become a
Yeah.
senior uh, at the first. You have to actually start from the basics. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I have no idea. Yeah.
um, yeah. Before you go, do you have social media that people can reach you, maybe to learn more, or to just to contact you?
No, I do not have any social media, and you know that. Um,
I mean, maybe you have some you're hiding
you
from
are
me.
whining us. I think my social media. How could I? Um, I mean, I do have LinkedIn. That's the closest thing to social media I have, personally. But does that work?
Yeah,
You can look me up
yeah.
on LinkedIn. It's Samuel Shobowale. That's my LinkedIn information. You'll see it right there. Yeah, feel free to, I guess, add me or follow me on LinkedIn. I don't know exactly how that works either.
Anyway,
And I will follow back.
yeah, yeah, hopefully. uh, anyway,
That's what they do.
anyway, we've come to the end of the show, so it's really great having you on and just telling us how you have started your journey and all that stuff. So,
Sure. I mean, yeah, thank you for having me. I really enjoy what you were doing. I listened to the first episode with Bez.
yeah,
I'm like, okay, yeah, this is really cool. I think just kind of getting people to talk about their careers, having people to listen in to these conversations. I think they are very helpful. Especially like I said, earlier, just being able to talk to somebody or having somebody come and talk to me was kind of what really sparked the difference in my career. So hopefully this thread or these conversations that you are having will spark some changes in some other people's lives.
as well. So anyway,
Yeah, good job.
I guess that's it for the episode. So bye, Sam.